If you're looking for the biggest, boldest, most straight-up, unbelievable move in recent memory, look no further than the Las Vegas Raiders dropping a nuclear bomb on the league by signing Shedeur for a record-breaking, spine-tingling, jaw-dropping $80 million guaranteed. That's not just money. That's history.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
This isn't just a bold signing, it's a full-on seismic event. And the aftershocks? Oh, they're everywhere. Fans, franchises, fantasy leagues, front offices. Everyone's either scrambling to understand how this happened or panicking about what it means next. But let's roll this back a little, because you need to feel the build-up before the quake hit. You've probably been hearing Shedeur name tossed around since he started melting defenses at Jackson State under his dad, Deion Coach Prime Sanders. The story practically wrote itself: legacy, talent, swagger, the whole package. Then he transferred to Colorado, and suddenly the whole college football world had its cameras locked in. Not just because he could play, but because he knew it, and he made sure you knew it too. Shedeur wasn't out here just trying to be good. He was trying to be a brand. And let's be honest, the NFL has always had a love-hate relationship with swagger. But Vegas? Vegas lives for it. Somewhere between Colorado's sideline watches, Instagram posts, and highlight reels, the Raiders saw what no one else was ready to admit out loud. This wasn't just a college star. This was their franchise quarterback in waiting. And they weren't going to wait for the draft, the combine, or the usual bureaucratic song and dance. They just reached across the table and said, "We'll take him now. All in." Now you might be wondering, how does a transfer even work like that in the NFL? Isn't that for college or European soccer? Welcome to the new NFL, baby. This league is evolving faster than a TikTok trend. And Vegas just flipped the script in front of everyone. No draft. No drama. Just cold, hard cash, and a deal so aggressive it sent executives into cardiac arrest. And Cleveland? Oh, poor Cleveland. Let's talk about this beautiful disaster. They had a front row seat to Shedeur's potential. They had interest. They had conversations. What they didn't have: vision, competence, a clue. While the Raiders were clearing the runway, Cleveland was busy fumbling the clipboard. Internal disagreements, poor timing, mixed signals. It was like watching a sitcom about a failing startup. Except instead of losing a sales pitch, they lost the most buzzed-about QB prospect in years. The Browns didn't just miss out, they fumbled the future. And now, their fans are watching in horror as Shedeur lands in Sin City, ready to light it up under the glitz of Allegiant Stadium, while their own quarterback room looks like a haunted house of bad decisions. Meanwhile, Vegas didn't even blink. They saw the opening and kicked the door down with $80 million in guaranteed money, setting a new high-water mark for quarterback deals, and flipping the table on what rookie value even means anymore. Traditionally, the NFL has kept rookie salaries relatively tame, especially for QBs. You get drafted, you prove yourself, then, maybe, you get the big check. But the Raiders? They're rewriting that entire system with one move. And just like that, Shedeur has gone from college standout to the face of a franchise, without even stepping on an NFL field. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The league is reacting like someone just kicked over a beehive. On one side, you've got fans in full meltdown mode, either ecstatic or enraged. Raider supporters are already photoshopping Sanders into black and silver gear like it's their job. On the other end, executives from rival teams are trying not to spill their overpriced coffee while recrunching salary cap projections. Because this wasn't just a player signing. This was a challenge, a declaration, a mic drop. And let's not pretend the financial ripple effects aren't wild. Within hours of the announcement, jersey sales spiked like a meme stock. Sportsbooks recalibrated their entire season's odds. Social media exploded with conspiracy theories and hot takes. One poor guy on Reddit wrote a 4,000-word manifesto explaining how this deal proves the Illuminati runs the NFL. It's chaos, and it's glorious. And the Raiders? They're basking in it. For once, A franchise known for dysfunction, mediocrity, and rotating quarterbacks like its speed dating finally made a move that screamed we're here to play. And not just on the field. In the boardroom. In the headlines. In the hearts of every NFL fan who's tired of the same old formula. They're betting that Shedeur isn't just a good quarterback. He's the future of the position. Someone who can command a locker room, sell out stadiums, and throw bombs while wearing a custom diamond chain. And honestly, they might be right. Because this isn't just about talent anymore. It's about brand, presence, cultural relevance. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's an ecosystem. And Vegas? Vegas knows how to build around that. Still, you have to ask, what does this really mean for the rest of the league? First of all, it blows the doors off rookie contract norms. If Shedeur is getting superstar money before throwing a single NFL pass, what's stopping the next big college QB from demanding the same? This isn't just a one-off. It's a blueprint, a precedent. You better believe agents around the league are watching this and updating their negotiation templates in real time. Second, it raises massive questions about quarterback development. If teams are going to start treating prospects like finished products, the pressure to deliver instantly is going to skyrocket. There's no more sit for a year behind a veteran. If you're getting paid like a king, you better rule like one. And third, it's a wake-up call for every front office still stuck in the Stone Age. The message is clear: be bold or be irrelevant. Now, let's circle back to Cleveland, because we really need to hand out an award here. Congratulations to the Browns for winning biggest fumble of the offseason. Your prize? A city full of fans wondering what could have been, and a future filled with awkward press conferences. It's not just that they missed out. It's how spectacularly they missed. All the warning signs were there. All the potential. And they still managed to drop the ball in the most Cleveland way possible. Meanwhile, Vegas is holding an unofficial parade. And here's the thing. Even if Shedeur doesn't become the next Mahomes, this move still shifts the culture. It says more about the NFL's future than any Super Bowl commercial or Roger Goodell press statement ever could. Because this is the beginning of a new era. An era where young talent gets paid like primetime stars. Where franchises can't afford to be cautious. Where personality, marketability, and vision matter just as much as stats. It's messy. It's risky. It's electric. And honestly, it's exactly what the NFL needed. So yeah, the Raiders just broke the bank. They smashed through tradition like a linebacker on Red Bull. And in the process, they might have just changed how the entire league operates. Whether this becomes a Cinderella story or a cautionary tale, one thing's for sure. Shedeur Sanders just made the NFL way more interesting. And if you're a fan of drama, chaos, and watching billion-dollar franchises gamble everything on raw talent and good vibes, you're going to want to stick around. So, what do you think? Did the Raiders just buy themselves a dynasty, or are they throwing money into a desert windstorm? Drop your take in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and make sure those notifications are on. Because if this is what the off-season looks like, you better believe the main event's going to be wild. If you thought the headline was wild, wait until we peel back the layers of what this means not just for Vegas and Shedeur, but for the entire identity of the NFL. This wasn't just a move, it was a reckoning. A renegade declaration from a franchise that, up until 5 minutes ago, most people didn't even take seriously outside of nostalgia and Halloween costumes. But that's the thing about Vegas. The house always plays to win. Now, let's get into the psychology behind this move. You have to understand, this wasn't just about football. This was about optics. This was branding, relevance, reclamation. The Raiders haven't had a true franchise quarterback since the early 2000s. They've been swinging and missing harder than a fourth-string kicker in overtime. Carr? Decent, but ultimately expendable. Jimmy G? A handsome patch on a leaky roof. And don't even mention the recent QB carousel, unless you want to summon a collective fan base trauma spiral. Vegas needed more than talent. They needed a face, a disruptor, a quarterback who didn't just fit a system, but broke the system open. And Shedeur? He's that guy. The confidence, the charisma, the built-in media machine that comes with being a Sanders. He's not walking into this league asking for permission. He's announcing his arrival. The Raiders didn't just sign a quarterback. They signed a spectacle. And they know that in 2025, spectacle sells. But here's where it gets really juicy. Behind closed doors, this deal shattered more than just records. It shattered egos. Front office, execs across the league have been fuming. There's this old guard mentality in the NFL, this deeply entrenched belief that everything has to go through the process. You get drafted, you pay your dues, you sit behind some 38-year-old veteran whose arm is made of dry spaghetti and hope for your chance. Shedeur said, "Nah, I'm not waiting around while some spreadsheet jockey decides if I'm worth it." And Vegas listened. There are whispers, loud ones, that this deal has already caused internal shakeups on multiple teams. Owners are calling emergency meetings, GMs are getting side-eyed by their coaching staff, and everyone is reevaluating their long-term quarterback strategy. Because if a team like the Raiders can outmaneuver the rest of the league and pull off the most headline-grabbing deal in years, that's a direct insult to every franchise playing it safe. Meanwhile, Shedeur is unbothered. He's already throwing in private workouts with Vegas receivers, walking around the facility like he's lived there for a decade. And yes, he's still wearing that $70,000 watch mid-drill. Confidence doesn't even begin to cover it. This is command, the kind of presence you either rise to match or you disappear in its shadow. Now, let's talk about the cultural whiplash this creates in the NFL. Because for years, the league has been awkwardly tiptoeing around change. A little more personality allowed here, a few more touchdowns celebrated there. But the underlying tone has always been conservative, safe, controlled. Shedeur Sanders just kicked the door off the hinges. His arrival, and more importantly, the way it happened, signals a full-blown identity crisis for the NFL. Are we still pretending this is a league for stoic, stone-faced field generals who don't say anything interesting until their retirement speech? Or are we finally embracing what fans actually want, personality, storylines, and players who act like human beings instead of mannequins in cleats? Vegas is betting on the latter. Hard. And honestly, the fans? They're eating it up. Every Shedeur-related post is doing numbers. Jersey pre-orders are crashing sites. Vegas merch is flying off shelves in states that previously forgot the Raiders existed. Sports talk shows can't get enough. Even non-football fans are suddenly wondering if they should be paying attention to that flashy kid with the NFL bag. And that's exactly the point. It's not just that Shedeur is talented. He's marketable. He's media-ready. He's built for the spotlight in a way most rookies aren't. Most quarterbacks learn how to handle fame. Shedeur, he was raised in it. He knows how to command a camera, answer a mic, dodge a bad headline. It's in his DNA. And Vegas knew exactly what they were buying. Let's not forget the Dion factor, either. Because you best believe Coach Prime is watching this all unfold with that iconic smirk. Whether or not he was directly involved, you know his fingerprints are all over the mindset behind it. This is generational game. Raising a son not just to succeed, but to own the narrative. And now the narrative has landed squarely in Vegas, wrapped in gold and black, with Shedeur at the center. But with all this hype comes expectation. This is no longer just about talent. It's about proof. $80 million guaranteed doesn't just buy headlines, it buys pressure. Every pass, every pick, every post-game interview will be dissected under a microscope that most rookies never face. And that's the gamble Vegas took. If Shedeur delivers, he becomes a legend before his rookie season ends. The guy who broke the rules, changed the game, and brought Vegas back to the big stage. If he flops, the laughingstock potential is unprecedented. But here's the thing. Shedeur doesn't seem like the kind of player who folds under lights. If anything, the chaos makes him sharper. It's like he was born for moments exactly like this. High stakes, high drama, and everyone watching. And that's what separates him from every other quarterback in his draft class. He isn't just another promising young arm. He's already a brand, already a leader, already stepping into the NFL like he owns the building. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the Raiders needed. Because for all their history, all their legacy, and all the tattoos of Al Davis faces in questionable places, the Raiders have been floundering for decades. Not just losing games, but losing relevance. And this? This was the move to get it all back. It's risky. It's bold. It's got every sports anchor in America foaming at the mouth. But you know what? It might just work. Because in today's NFL, playing it safe is just another way to stay mediocre. And Vegas? Vegas finally got tired of watching from the sidelines. So now we wait. We wait for the first snap. The first deep ball. The first highlight clip that gets 20 million views overnight. The first mistake, the first comeback, the first time Shedeur walks off the field and looks into the camera, like, told you. Because this isn't just about him anymore. This is about what comes next. The floodgates are open. Teams are no longer waiting for permission. The old playbook has been shredded. And from this moment on, the question isn't can a rookie earn a massive deal? It's who's next. While the world is still processing the sticker shock of that $80 million guaranteed, there's a quieter, more profound shift happening beneath the surface. One that's not about money or press releases, but something even more dangerous to the NFL status quo. Control. Let's not pretend for 1 second that this was a normal transaction. The Raiders didn't just sign a hot prospect. They tore up the unspoken rules of NFL player acquisition, laughed in the face of traditional draft pipelines, and basically held up the league office like, yeah, we did it. What now? And the league? Stunned, silent, scrambling. Because Shedeur Sanders didn't go through the usual rites of passage. No awkward green room moment. No draft night anxiety. No staged phone call with Roger Goodell's hand awkwardly on his shoulder. Instead, the Sanders camp cut out the middleman. This deal didn't get leaked in bits and pieces by sources. It dropped like a nuke, fully formed high gloss, and already halfway trending before the league even had time to hit refresh on their crisis PR emails. And that's when it hit the NFL powers that be. They're not in charge anymore. For decades, this league has run like a machine. Players play. Coaches coach. Execs make decisions in dimly lit rooms, sipping scotch and stroking metaphorical cats like Bond villains. But Shedeur? He came in like a tech disruptor at a real estate convention. No respect for tradition. No need for approval. Just vibes and leverage. He knew what he was worth. And more importantly, he knew that someone would pay it. Vegas just happened to be the first team bold enough to say yes. But you think they're gonna be the last? No shot. You can already see it bubbling beneath the surface. Young quarterbacks, rising stars in college, watching this unfold like, wait, hold up, I can do that? The message is loud and clear now. If you've got the talent, the following, and the right team around you, you don't have to beg for a seat at the table. You build your own table and make the NFL show up with a checkbook. And yeah, it's going to scare the old guard. The league thrives on hierarchy, on slow progress, on paying your dues. But what happens when the players don't just want a shot at greatness? They want a cut of a narrative. What happens when the quarterback is also the producer? Because that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders is right now. He's not just playing the game, he's directing it. And that terrifies the people who've built their careers on keeping players in neat little boxes. But let's pivot to the fans for a second. Because their reaction? Pure theater. There's the expected divide, of course. You've got the old school purists clutching their pearls like, back in my day, quarterbacks earned their money. Cool, Grandpa. Also back in your day, helmets were optional and cigarettes were part of halftime. Then there's the younger crowd, Gen Z, football, TikTok, Instagram hounds, who are all in. This is their era. Their football. They want bold moves, chaos energy, and main characters. They're not here for spreadsheets and safe bets. They're here for storylines. And this is storytelling gold. Shedeur Sanders didn't just get signed. He got greenlit, like a Hollywood blockbuster. And the Raiders? They just became the studio putting it all on the line. And let's be real, Vegas loves a show. They didn't move from Oakland just to become an afterthought. The Raiders didn't build that spaceship stadium to fill it with mediocrity. This is the city of risk, reward, and reinvention. And Shedeur fits that image perfectly. He's flashy without being fake, confident without being corny. He doesn't just walk into the spotlight, he owns it. Which is probably why this deal feels so right for Vegas, and so wrong for teams still pretending it's 1998. You know which franchises are panicking right now? The ones still holding out hope that some future third-round pick will turn into the next Tom Brady, magically fall into their lap, and solve all their problems for the veteran minimum. But that kind of thinking? Outdated. Shedeur just proved that if you wait around for greatness to fall into your lap, you're going to get left behind. Fast. Because this deal isn't just about quarterback play. It's about franchise identity. The Raiders are saying, we're done playing safe. We're done pretending we're still the rebels of the 70s, while making the most boring front office decisions imaginable. They just remade themselves in one move. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. The NFL's in a weird place right now, caught between a new generation of fans and the lingering shadow of old-school culture. Ratings are high, but attention spans are short. You don't just need wins anymore. You need moments. And Shedeur? He's a moment machine. The inevitable debut game? It's going to be a spectacle. Think sold-out stadium, national TV, celebrity guests in the owner's box, maybe even a pre-game performance. Not because he's a diva, but because he is the draw. He's what happens when football talent meets media training meets generational charisma. And let's be honest, how many rookies walk into the league with that full package? You can count them on one hand and still have fingers left for chicken wings. Now, is there risk? Of course there is. That's the point. Greatness doesn't come from committee meetings and cautious optimism. It comes from audacity, from moves that make the room gasp and the league pause. Vegas just made the boldest move of the decade, and now it's Shedeur's turn to answer. Will he live up to the hype? Will he redefine what it means to be a rookie QB? Will he silence the doubters and ignite the franchise? Or will the weight of expectation crush him before the ink on the contract dries? That's the beauty of it. No one knows. And that uncertainty, that edge-of-your-seat feeling, is what makes this whole thing so compelling. Because you're not just watching a football player now. You're watching a shift in player empowerment, in media influence, in how franchises think about legacy. And whether this gamble pays off or not, one thing is absolutely clear. The NFL will never be the same after this. Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign a deal. He lit a fuse. And when that fire reaches the powder keg, oh, you're going to want front row seats. So here's where we leave it for now. In suspense, in chaos, in awe. Because no matter how this story ends, it's going to be one hell of a ride. So tell me, are you riding with Shedeur? Or do you think the Raiders just threw a jackpot at the wrong machine? Sound off in the comments. Light it up. Let the takes fly. And if you live for the drama, the twists, and the football moves that shake the league from the inside out, you already know what to do. Subscribe. Tap the bell. Stick around. Because, trust me, this isn't just a new chapter in NFL history. This is the plot twist no one saw coming.